The Beaches podcast is going to give you everything you want to know about a beach before you go there. I hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to check out our website, www.sandee.com. Without further ado, let's get into the show.
All right, everybody, get ready. Because today we are really going to dig deep into these hurricane categories.
Oh, yeah.
People have been asking for this, especially with Hurricane Milton recently making landfall as a Category 5.
Right.
And we're going to figure this whole thing out. Like, we want to know, how do scientists decide what category a hurricane is?
Right.
And, more importantly,
Yeah.
what does that mean for you and me?
Exactly.
We're so lucky to have you here to help break this all down.
Yeah. Happy to be here. Happy to geek out about hurricanes.
So it's called a wind scale.
Right.
So is wind speed the only thing that determines a hurricane's category?
So you want to talk about the Saffir-Simpson scale?
Yeah.
It sounds complicated, but it's pretty simple once you wrap your head around it.
Okay.
The scale itself is all about wind speed.
Okay.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one, even though the scale focuses on wind speed. Things like how much rain a hurricane dumps or how bad the storm surge is.
Right.
Those are also really connected to the category.
Right. Yeah.
It's like a chain reaction. Higher wind speed equals more intense everything else.
I see.
So yeah, it all starts with that wind speed measurement.
Okay. So walk us through the categories then.
Okay.
Like, what is the difference between a Category 1 and a Category 5?
So picture this. A Category 1 hurricane has winds between something like 74 miles per hour and 95.
Okay.
That's strong enough to snap tree branches, maybe rip a street sign off its pole.
Yeah.
But bump that up to a Category 2, now you're talking winds around 100 miles per hour. Suddenly, a piece of plywood is like a sheet of flying metal.
Oh, wow.
That jump in wind speed just totally changes how much damage the storm can do.
Yeah, that's scary. And then you get these higher categories like Hurricane Milton,
Right.
which was a Category 5.
A Category 5 is, those are the ones that really make you nervous.
Yeah.
Winds 157 miles per hour or higher, you're talking complete devastation.
Oh, wow.
Like homes ripped right off their foundations.
Oh, wow.
Trees just totally uprooted. It really drives home the point that these categories aren't just numbers. They represent a very real threat.
Yeah. And you mentioned in your notes that Hurricane Milton made landfall on October 9th, so it was very recent.
Yeah.
These Category 5 landfalls are really rare.
Very, very rare, thankfully.
But when they happen, what kind of impact do they have?
Oh, the impacts are huge, and they last a long time. We're talking crippled infrastructure, devastated economies.
Yeah.
And it really, like, a Category 5 hurricane can really tear apart the social fabric of a community. It's not an exaggeration to say that the recovery process can take years, even decades.
Right. So understanding the categories.
Yeah.
It helps us understand the risks and how we need to prepare.
Exactly. It's about being informed, knowing what you're dealing with, and then taking the right steps to be prepared.
Right.
Knowing if it's a Category 1 or a Category 5, that changes everything. Like, do you need to evacuate? What supplies do you need to have on hand?
Right.
It can literally be a matter of life or death.
Absolutely. Yeah. It really makes you think about those hurricane warnings differently, you know? And this scale was developed in like 1970.
I think it was the 70s, yeah.
It's amazing that it's still relevant today, but it does make you wonder, how might things like climate change affect these categories in the future?
Oh, yeah. That's a huge question.
Yeah.
That we will have to deal with.
Definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
And as we're wrapping up this deep dive, I have one final thought for everyone. How does understanding these hurricane categories, especially knowing what we know now about Hurricane Milton, how does it change how you think about preparing for a storm? Because it's not just about the wind speed, it's about understanding just how powerful nature can be and then doing everything we can to stay safe.
Absolutely.
So think about that, and we will see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks for listening to the show, and be sure to tune in next week for your favorite episode about some of the best beaches and beach information in the world.